Hey everybody, Josh from the J-Side Friday. Who's that? Does anyone recall that car? Have we ever talked about that car? Yeah, let's see. We'll get to that in a minute. I'm walking in snow. But what am I wearing? It's a hoodie. I don't even need it. I'm just wearing it for show. It's Western New York, and it is the day before Friday, Thursday. Let's check my watch real quick. Let's see what day we are. March 14th, 2019. It is 63 degrees outside today, and Maverick, hey, come here, boy. Come. He's coming. He's a good boy. Anyway, we're outside today. Oh, look what I just found. You ready? Some kind of dead bird. I love the things you find in your lawn when you go outside for the first time when the snow is melting at a rapid pace. So yeah, the weather has turned a little bit for 2 days and has given us this beautiful spring-like weather. But anyway, let's talk about stuff. Yeah, it's wrench fetish. Let's talk about wrenchy things. First off, did you watch the video a couple days ago about the thing there? Oh, so much better. Is that better? I don't think it is. I have something on my screen because it's humid outside. Anyway, video last week was, earlier this week, was the Rochester Autorama at the Riverside Convention Center in downtown Rochester. And we went and saw new cars. I will say the only thing I will take away from that is that guy. That is the Jeep Gladiator, all murdered out. That's the only thing I really wanted to see. And somebody locked the doors and you couldn't get in it. Whatever. Watch the rest of that video. There's some neat stuff. Other than that, I'm trying to think what we've done this week. Not much. It's been cold. Oh, have you seen that guy? Sorry for the mess. I am just human. But that is the new toy bike, the new 2.9er Superfly from my bro Bieber. Not that he watches these, but he donated a frame. We swapped a little here's and there's, and that's going to be my new race rig this year. I cannot wait. If you remember a little bit from last week, I bought a bottom bracket for it. It is officially in and works fantastic. It is a token Ninja something. Look up last week's video if you want to buy one. They work fantastic. Went in so smooth. And there was that. So today we're going to talk about a car that I don't think was ever put together during filming of these videos. It has never been on a J-Side Friday, I believe. Guarantee, actually. And I don't even know if it's been on the wrench fetish videos. But I can tell you that if you go back in the archives of the actual blog, there is a whole bunch on this car. This is my 1972 Ford Torino. And you're asking, what's up with the front end on this thing? You know why? It's a base model coupe. Don't mind that thing. Ignore that. That's for another day. But what this is a Torino, not a Grand Torino. It shares everything except for this front clip. One, it's got a one-piece grille that goes from end to end. It's got a weirdo hood. Let's see if I can get through all this garbage over here. Hang on. It's got the hood right here is different. The other one is sectioned out a little bit, and the grill and the bumper is different. The bumper on the other 72 comes up. It's got like a fish mouth in it. This car is kind of rare just for that fact. The rest of the car is totally the same as a regular Torino. And I will tell you, as I sit on it, this car I bought, I don't know, 20 years ago. At the time, I had a 1973 Gran Torino, and I had a CRX. I remember those things. And then I had a 1970 Monte Carlo. I had an S10 Blazer. And I had something else. I had a stack of cars at one point in time. And I told myself right before this car, I'm going to sell everything. And the last car to go, I'm keeping. Really wish they worked out differently. Everything I had sold. I actually had a C10 at the same time. I had like 10 cars. I sold everything immediately and ended up with the Honda CRX. That was a great car. Hang on, motorcycles today. Was a great car, and it lasted me a long time, and I learned a lot in that car and did a lot of wrenching. And at the end, I mean, I'll show you a picture. Yeah. It was a beater, but it was my beater. It's beautiful. The CRX. Anyway, let's get out of this. So one day I'm at work, and my wife at the time hits me up and says, "Hey, on your way home, you should go hit up this street there, and there's a car out there. I think it's a Torino." And I'm like, you know, I saw that car. It ain't no Torino. I don't know what that thing is, but it ain't a Torino. And she's like, just check it out. I think it says like $500 on it. I'm like, it must be $5,000. And there's a picture of it when I got it, and the CRX. But I went by the house, and now at the time I lived in North Carolina, and it was a little old lady owned it, and her son, she was like 90 years old. Her son was like, I don't know, 65 years old. And he had like monkeyed up some bodywork on it. The interior was roached. At the time, it was a 6-cylinder automatic, and they were just trying to get rid of it because Mom couldn't drive anymore. There was actually, I have somewhere in the house here, all the receipts from inspections over the years, and then a transmission that was swapped out and warranted in 1978. Now the car only has 73,000 miles on it. Don't look like it, does it? This is, my friends, is what happens when you park a car like this old lady did in your driveway and had the butt of it hanging off the end over the grass, and then stop driving but to church once a week, and the back of the car rotted out. Now in North Carolina, they get, you know, salt water from the ocean, because I was right on the ocean, and the cowl's gone, the back window is like shot. So the car really was beat, and I looked at it, and it was literally $500. So at the time I was broke, and I said, you know what, man, I'll do it. I'll do it for $500. Hell, I'll drive it home. We put a battery in it, and a faithful Sunday, which is illegal in that state, we towed the car home behind. What is that? We towed it behind a 4-door 94 Honda Civic while I was driving it, with the chain just dragging on the ground because it's illegal to tow on Sundays, but the car drove, but I didn't have plates or anything on it, so we just pretended we were towing, and we made it home. And that is that. The car came to my possession. I was broke. I could not register it at the time, and the car sat for like ever. So I gutted it one year, and that was it. Like, I never drove it. I moved, I bought a house, we moved the car, it sat in another house. At that point, it started getting spray painted, as you can see that picture. It's kind of in the background. And it just sat for like years. And then I got this hankering to like pull the motor out of this other Ranchero that I bought. By this point, we were doing pretty good financially. So I bought this 75 Ranchero. And yeah, we pulled the 351 modified out of it and put it in this thing. Yeah, so I did it in a dirt yard because I didn't have a concrete slab or any kind of driveway. And I pushed the car away from the motor and I pushed the car to the motor. And then got it in there, and I remember firing it up at like 10 o'clock at night one night with open headers, and I was like, yeah, it runs, yeah, I'm gonna drive this thing. And then I got a wrench in the spokes, and I moved back to New York. At that point, the car sat in a portable garage and completely just rotted out. It was so sad. It went from a rotted car to a really rotted car. And in the meantime, I pulled the motor out, which is now hiding in my basement, and then I bought another motor to put in there. That motor went in, sat in there until nothing, and then I took it back out, and then there's a picture right there, that motor coming out again. And yeah, I got the motor out of it, and then it just sat. And then my boy Chevelle Paul, as you've probably seen in other videos, said, hey man, you need to get that thing together, we got a car show coming up. I said, that thing hasn't moved on its own in like 10-15 years. He says, well, I'm coming to pick it up right now with the tractor and my trailer, we'll just push it up there. So we scooped it up, we put the motor, the tranny, everything, and it went to his house, and then we started that. All that building. And yeah, so there's some pictures of it. If you look back, there's a blog, Wrench Fetish New York, and I covered some of that as we went. But the car made it together, and I tell you what, great burnouts and stuff. Like, this was a fun car. That motor and tranny, after another one of those days, was like, we're gonna put it in this car. That is the drivetrain that's in the horse with no name. Whew, same year car, but a fastback. Gran Torino Sport, that one is. So it's got the front end and the grill and the fastback. So, this brings me to today. Why are we out here? I can tell you, now it's sitting outside. And the reason why, I'll tell you folks, it's outside because it's got a spool in it, and I don't think I can get it in my, hang on. Someone's trying to call me. I don't think I can turn this thing around and push it around into the garage with a spool because it does not turn. If you don't know what a spool is, it connects both rear axles 100%. There's no screwing around with a spool. Like, you go into a parking lot or on the road, and one wheel is going to either howl or smoke. So it's hard without, you know, drivetrain in it. But let's just let's do a little scan in here. This is what the interior looks like. It still never got a headliner. I can tell you this. As I look around this car, I'm starting to realize that stuff has been living in here. Yeah, that is excrement from some kind of critters. Something's living in there. So, this guy, yeah, is going away. I think I've made the decision that we are not going to save this car from itself. Though, as I look at it, suspension-wise, chassis-wise, it's actually a really solid car. But I think we're gonna donor this thing out a little bit. I think it's gonna get parts, and I think I'm gonna sell that front end to some poor person out there that needs one. And I have a whole nother one with a brand new bumper and a brand new grill. It's really a shame. I should put all that on the fastback just to be weird. That's an interesting concept, because there would be the only one around, a fastback with a base model nose. Ugh. Anyway, so that's that. folks, that is the Murderino as deemed by B-Side after I took him for a drive in it, and it did great Bernies and Donies. Yeah, I love you, but you gotta go. Yeah, that's today. Wrench fetish. We didn't talk about wrenching a whole lot, but a little bit of history on what's going on. I hope you enjoyed the story. I enjoyed that car for a very long time, and I'm sure, I'm not guaranteeing that it's going away, but I'm sure this is not the last you've heard about this car in the next couple months, because it's either going to get cut up and taken away, used for other stuff, or I could be easily convinced, if somebody said so, to stick an LS in that thing and make it all-wheel drive or something ridiculous. I could probably be convinced, but we're not reaching for that. We want to clean up stuff. Just saying. Anyway, that's it for this week's J-Side Friday. I hope you all have a good time. I hope if you're out here, you're enjoying it. It's so warm. And yeah, let's go wrenching on some stuff, huh? Yeah, next week I have another car show to talk about, and things. Yeah, hopefully this weather pattern keeps coming and we can get to business, because I've got a lot to do in a short amount of time on the Maverick and some other projects. But for today, I'm gonna go pick up sticks in the yard with Maverick, because he loves sticks. And I just stuck in the, ready for this? Yeah. So much mud, my whole yard. Yuck. Until next time, folks, J-Side Friday.